There was a huge portion of my life where I didn't feel either confident or capable of being in control of really anything.
Even just that conversation made me realize how low my self-esteem really was.
Sometimes it's about just testing some of our beliefs. When we think we aren't good enough, we can't possibly do something, step back and say, what's the evidence? And you can train your brain to think differently over time.
All these parts were starting to slot together. I had all my training, that was ready. I was ready for whatever job came my way.
One of the biggest downfalls I see in people's journey to success and through entrepreneurship is confidence, specifically self-confidence. So today I speak to 5 leading experts in their fields about how they gain confidence, how they use tools to become more confident. Today's video was sponsored by mulliganbrothers.com, where you can now get the Not a Journal. They are absolutely flying off the shelves, so thank you to everybody who supported us. All of you guys who are preparing for 2023, thank you. The Not a Journal is a no bullshit approach of how to journal and get stuff done. Link in the description, where all the profits go back into creating this content. But before that, have you ever had low self-esteem, low self-confidence? Well, here are 5 tips of how to change that, how to become more confident and more direct, and hopefully lead to more success. I'm your host, Jordan Mulligan. Let's jump into the video.
There was a huge portion of my life where I didn't feel either confident or capable of being in control of really anything. And so I think the things that I was in control over was using drugs and eating food, and that I controlled, and I could do it a lot, and it was this kind of sick, inverted sense of power. And when I thought about kind of exterior goals that I had for myself and ways of applying myself, I felt very small and useless. And so it took a long time to shift my perspective on this, but really, if I have a thought and the thought is that's really hard, I would shut down before, and now I'm way more apt to say, no, you had the thought, you then thought it was going to be really hard, go do that, go try it, fail. And, Samuel Beckett has my favorite quote, ever tried, ever failed, no matter, try again, fail better. So just this idea, it's okay to not be great at something. And the other thing I have had to convince myself of is that I don't always know what's right. I think I failed at many diets or never did them because I always knew how to lose weight, but I didn't, right? And so I've become very interested in learning, and I go into most situations not with the idea that I already understand how something works, but with the idea that I need to learn more about how something works, or learn anything at all about how something works. I want to go into situations with this idea that I know nothing, and then build a foundation of knowledge and become certain and become powerful and strong in that way. And I'm never going to dismiss things because I think I understand all of them, because I don't, because I didn't get sober for a long time because I knew better than the people who had gotten sober. And so I would attach my own little ideas to them of no, it's going to work better if I do X, Y, and Z. And I found that sometimes I need to just tell myself to shut up and be a pupil and learn something and move forward and get powerful.
Mental strength's all about the way you think, feel, and behave. So there's lots of things you can do to improve the way that you think. Because again, our brains lie to us. It will tell you that you can't do something that you can. So sometimes it's about proving your brain wrong. I like to go running every day, and when I do, my brain, I do a timed mile. 3/4 in, my brain always says, you can't possibly finish this race. So I always try to step it up at that moment to prove to my brain, no, I can run faster than you think. You underestimate me. And sometimes it's about just testing some of our beliefs. When we think we aren't good enough, we can't possibly do something, step back and say, what's the evidence? And you can train your brain to think differently over time. And then the second part's about our emotions. Sometimes we think I can't handle being sad, or anxiety is intolerable, and we start making really unhealthy choices when those feelings crop up. So it's about learning new coping strategies. It's about tolerating our emotions when we can, about knowing though that we're not we don't have to just let ourselves feel whatever it is we feel when it's not serving us well. If you're so sad you can't get out of bed for 3 weeks, you might have to push yourself to get up. And it's about knowing the difference between that sometimes it's about caring for yourself, but sometimes it's about pushing yourself. And then it's about the action that we take. If you're tired one day and you think, oh, I don't feel like going to the gym, sometimes you got to push yourself to do it anyway. Or sometimes you got to make that phone call that you don't want to make, or you got to get up there and give that speech, even though you feel really nervous. And then knowing, okay, well, I'm mentally strong enough to do these things. Even though I don't always feel like it, or I don't always think I am, or I don't always make the right choice, plenty of choices moving forward. And when we do that, we just give ourselves more confidence to know, okay, I'm ready. I can handle whatever life's going to throw my way.
The military part of my life is, you know, I owe almost everything to it, because it's given me the confidence and the ethos and the courage of my own convictions to do what I want to do now. You know, it certainly doesn't, the military part doesn't mean I'm any better, you know, at anything than anyone else, but I think in my own head and confidence, you know, I know that I passed one of the hardest infantry training in the world at the age of 16. That means, you know, in my head I have this confidence that, you know, I can do most things. You know, I just haven't been taught most of them, or, you know, if someone teaches me something, then I'm very focused and dialed on learning that thing. But the thing that made me join the Scouts was adventure. The thing that made me join the Marines was adventure. And then after I left and I started messing around and went offshore, I then started to formulate this idea that I would then work in the outdoors. Not as an outdoors instructor, because there's too many people doing that, and you know, very qualified, and it's not well paid, and also it didn't give me that, you know, I didn't want to be taking groups out on the hill. And you know, I led a lot of expeditions in South America and all over the place with young adults, and it just, like, I didn't quite know television existed yet, but all these parts were starting to like slot together. I had all my training, that was ready. I was like ready for whatever job came my way.
During the lockdown, I met this couple, and it's this couple, they're both from my hometown, from Venezuela, but they've made a really good name for themselves. They have like 2 million followers on Instagram. They're absolutely crushing it. And I met them through a mutual friend, and the guy, Mike, he was like, man, you're really beautiful. Like, have you ever thought about doing like a, you know, a photo shoot for you? And I'm like, honestly, no. You know, for the last 8 years, all the photo shoots that I've done are for the purpose of like just showing my muscles, like training or showing a movement, or, you know, promoting a product. Like, I've never thought about doing a photo shoot where the set focus or the center of attention is my body. And I don't know if I even, and I told him, I don't know if I even feel comfortable with that. Like, I remember telling him, I'm not like, I don't look like the other girls that you shoot for. I'm not sexy, I'm not like super voluptuous. I have a very different body type. I'm like really lean and like square and have a ton of muscles and veins, and it's just, I don't think like I'm the type of girl that you want to even shoot. Even just that conversation made me realize how low my self-esteem really was. You know, I genuinely didn't consider myself beautiful. I always kind of relied on my grit, drive, and intellect to get attention. I never even thought that people wanted to look at me because of the way that I looked. I didn't consider myself attractive. And because the thought of that shoot was uncomfortable, I did it. And I go there, and they had my outfits planned for me. It was like a bunch of bathing suits, and they did my makeup for me and my hair. I had my hair down wavy and like this exaggerated makeup that felt so foreign to me. It felt like it wasn't me at all, and it didn't feel authentic to who I was. But I was like, I mean, nobody has to see these pictures. You know, if anything, this is just an experiment. It's just an experiment for me to see how I would feel, and to try to feel what these models feel like when they get all dolled up and like people tell them that they're beautiful. Like, I don't know, maybe I like it. So I remember like being super uncomfortable and like apprehensive to doing certain poses, or even just like being in front of the camera, in front of other people, just half naked. And a few, like 10, 15 minutes into the shoot, he shows me his camera. He's like, look how beautiful you are. And I saw it through his lens, and I'm like, damn, like, yeah, that's cool. Like, I actually do look like all the other models in my own way. You know, I have nice legs, I have a nice butt. I don't know, I have nice shoulders. I'm tan, I like my skin color. I just like saw myself through his lens, and it was really empowering. And it gave me a lot of confidence because I hadn't seen myself, I hadn't even thought of myself as like somebody who can be attractive, right? And that was crazy to me.
I think this was really, when I look at it, it was the catalyst for me wanting to join the Special Forces. I can remember looking across the ground one day, and I don't know why I had it. It was just like an epiphany. It was just like something that came into my head. And they used to give us all these sort of tasks, all these missions every day to go and do. And I sat there one day and I went, there are no tasks. There are no missions. We're bait. And that's, to this day, I still believe that. You know, we're bait. We're being put on the ground because they want the IRA to attack us. And then from that's where they build their intelligence. You know, the activity creates the intelligence picture. So for me, it was like, I just thought I'm just cannon fodder. So I kind of lost a little bit of interest from that point on. You know, it kind of devalued me. But I came back from there, you know, and although it had high, you know, certain things happened and it was great, it wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. And it got to that point where I started to lose belief in myself. And the whole, just the thought that I could be in the Special Forces, I thought, nah, that's not, I'm not prepared to embark on that journey. I just didn't believe in myself enough. And I put my notice in to leave at that point. You know, I'd had enough. And I think I had 6 months left to do, even less than that. And I ended up bumping into my former officer from who I served with in Iraq. And he was at my brother's pass out. My brother passed out as a helicopter pilot. He was a brainy one. And I saw him there and he said, what are you up to? I said, well, I'm leaving. And he said, no, are you kidding me? And I said, yeah. I said, it's not for me. And he says, mate, he said, you've got something. I don't know what it is, but you've got something. I believe you've got what it takes for the Special Forces. If you leave now, you'll regret that for the rest of your life. And those words from someone that I respected changed me straight away, you know, inspired me. Someone gave me a bit of confidence when I was lacking it. And that was phenomenal. And that gave me just that little inch of confidence to change my whole mindset and think, and just the thought of, you will regret that for the rest of your life. They're powerful words, really powerful words. And if it wasn't for him saying that, I wouldn't be sat here today, and I'd be leading a very different life, whatever that would be.
Thank you to all these guys who are involved in these videos. I'm going to link their stuff down below, and I want to say an absolutely massive thank you to all the support we've been receiving at mulliganbrothers.com. A lot of the journals have been selling, and I know you guys are getting ready for 2023. There's only a few left, so thank you to everybody. Get them whilst you can. But I want to say massive thank you to you, because without you, we could not fly all around the world to go create this content. And the Inspire Change movement is basically us finding stories from all around the world and delivering them accessible to all. This is the goal, for absolutely everybody to be able to hear these messages and get this education for free of charge. But with your support, it has been made possible, so thank you again. Confidence is hugely important to success, entrepreneurship, sports, whatever it is. And it's something that I would say Mulligan Brothers team have suffered with, low self-confidence. So throughout our first years, we had a lot of confidence that we could work hard. We had a lot of confidence that we could hustle and grind every single day. But when it came to the industry, we had low self-confidence. And it took us putting ourselves out there, putting ourselves on camera, going out and filming these projects, and delivering that every single day to regain that confidence. So for us, it was almost like a trial by fire. We needed to go out there and do the thing that we were supposed to do and put it out there for the world to see. And that was a very scary moment, but take the leap of faith, guys. That's my advice to you. If you want to find out if you're good at something, put it out there. And guess what? If you're not good at something, most likely you won't be straight away, just like us. You will then be able to reassess and decide how you're going to be better. And through that process, you can become the best in the world at anything that you want to do. So guys, thank you for watching. Have a blessed and productive day. Go follow me on Instagram at Jordan Mulligan Brother, and I will see you in the next one. And if you made it this far, to the very end of this video, be a part of the Inspire Change movement. Drop a comment down below, Inspire Change. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.